need someone like that. I'm thinking the Dragon Knight, because there's a lot of physical damage on Polaris that the Dragon Knight could sort of hold his own against.
Yeah, that DK could still fit in for Kuku on the off lane. Only a few seconds left for them to pick in for this reserve time here. And we'll go with a Razor once more. So Kuku Razor coming out again. Support Viper, support Marcy, likely the outcome. There's some flex. You could maybe run the support Razor instead with a Viper core off lane. So you can kind of switch your hands around, but doesn't feel like they'll do that. Does this cover the gaps for T1? Is this a tanky enough frontliner to kind of cop the damage here?
No, I think I don't like it, this Razor pick at all. I feel like, you know, who are you gonna static link? Chaos Knight and his 4 brothers? Like they're just, you know, you can take out one guy, the rest will all kill you. Death Prophet, and her damage is not from right click. Warlock and Tiny don't care. So I don't like this Razor pick at all. T1, obviously they can win this game. Like, you know, we might look like fools later, but I do not like this draft. Morphling takes too long. Razor, if he has a bad lane, we just saw what happens. Viper is fine as a support, skill falls off, but that's, you know, that's okay. Marcy's having a good game. I like Marcy, I like Puck, and I'm okay to the Viper, but I do not like these other 2 cores. And I feel like that just slows down T1. Polaris, on the other hand, good stun from the Chaos Knight, good team fight from the Warlock. They have good tower push. See what they go with the last pick, but overall, I like Polaris a lot right now with just 4 picks.
Yeah, they look pretty good, and Lush has quite the wide pool to
Kunkka,
still
maybe?
focus on here. And the Kunkka is still on hand, and Lelouch has played it quite a few times. Could be one way to kind of get that hold for Puck, hold for the Morphling as well. Have that stable X to play with. Void Spirits in the pool if they want that. The Silence could be really devastating for the Morphling until he gets his Manta BKB, if he goes for either of those as well. So, a lot of options left. Anything that stands out there? Like, for that mid?
Pangolier or, yeah, something that with a lot of sustain is what I'm really looking for. So, see what they go with. They go with the voice that you said.
Make the ultimate choice.
Nicely predicted, my friend John.
Yeah, I mean, Lelouch does love his Void Spirit, and again, it feels like a decent Void Spirit game. Where's the hold coming out from T1? You only have Dispose and maybe that Dream Coil coming out, and the stun from Morphling not particularly amazing, so only really 2 big stuns to worry about for the Void Spirit to dance around. It doesn't feel like Lelouch has much to be scared of. I guess Dream Coil Dispose is still strong, so that could be the early way of dealing with Lelouch, but that Ag's timing into that Void Spirit, it just feels scary. Do you feel like T1's kind of fixed the issues from last game, and they're back to that Razor offlane for Kuku?
I feel like their issues are worse, honestly, in this game. But Gabby on Morphling, hero may be garbage, but as you mentioned, back in his TNC days, I actually played with Gabby once in a pub game, and he was Faceless Void. We were up against a Morphling Earthshaker combo, and I was playing Keeper of the Light. He's like, alright, just use your chakra, and I'll show you how you can beat it. Chakra on me, and then I'll show you. You walk in, force them out, and walk out. And this was before Backtrack was there. So he knows the hero backwards. He knows how to beat it. He knows how to play it. He's an amazing multiplayer. But the hero's garbage. Kuku is playing Razor, and he needs to scale. Or if he has bad lane stage, he's gonna lose. I don't like T1's draft. I think it's a little worse than previous game. Well, the same value as previous game. Let's be honest, Doom was pretty terrible in that.
Yeah, that wasn't the best showing at all from both Gabby and Kuku, to be fair, in game number 2. So we'll see if they can find some redemption here and stay on that path to Genting. Polaris, of course, looking strong. I mean, they looked a bit wonky game 1, bounced back in a big way in game 2. And here we are with a draft that I think you and I can agree does look a bit better here for Polaris. So T1 backs against the wall. These guys, all veteran players, but same thing for Polaris. And this little Rambulan of ours, Polaris, kind of hitting back well. So we will get into that now. So what are things to watch out for? Like, what early timings are important for T1? Because in my eyes, I only really see Carl setting their tempo early game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Polaris has a lot more to work with, though. Like, even if the golem comes out, the Warlock has 6, that's a big team fight. When Voice Spirits, they hit 6, he's also going to be able to go in and out of fights. Exorcism means that you can start with towers. There's like a blink dagger on Tiny. What's going on, man?
I mean, it's a Rambulan, you know, the 2 Filipino teams, mostly Filipino teams fighting up against each other here. And White Pawn getting called out by Lelouch for some reason. Cuckoo does break the smoke, but they still find Raging Potato with a chain stuns, avalanche, and the little Chaos Vault. Raging does have the rebound out. It's gonna be fine, but the rundown still there on Polaris. Looking for someone. T1 does back off in the nick of time. And no first blood bonus for Polaris, but yeah, it's funny because Cuckoo was just all chatting the Noi Noi voice line of Polaris, because I guess he doesn't have it, so he's trying to join in on the fun there, just typing it manually, you know?
So what does it mean, Noi Noi?
Noi is like, you're calling for a person, you're calling for a guy you see. Noi Noi, and the rest of the lines, Ayo Noiba, Ayo, it's like, stop it, stop it.
Well, we'll see which team was able to which team is going to want to win. Who's going to win this? Which team wants it to stop at some point. For now, it looks like Polaris start taking, I don't know, with 3 of those bounty ruins. Not what you want to see on T1, especially when you have the Razor who needs farm and same with the Morphlink. Oh, Whitemon, what the hell is he doing here?
Yeah, he's really far back there, Whitemon.
You're on the other team, Whitemon.
That was an interesting pattern. There you go. The Noi Noi Ayo Noiba Ayo is right there. So don't beat him up. Does get taken down anyway. Early first blood to break the pace here. See how the the lanes develop. But that was a little bit awkward. T1 just giving it away.
I don't know. Did Whitemon be like, hey guys, is this are we still on the dire side? Like, no, we're not. We're on the other team now. But a very interesting first blood to give away, and I think, I mean, at least go to Xavius, not Lelouch, but still terrible for time to give away first blood.
Yeah, that was not ideal. Whitemon again, kind of getting caught out, and the damage out from Xavius is pretty big. Avalanche out as well, force keeping chase, and yeah, Whitemon can't quite run, forced to Fairy Fire, dead again. Good. Dead again. What?
By the way, this might be something that a lot of people may not know, but Viper's actually, I believe, the slowest hero in the game, 275 movement speed. I think maybe Broodmother is slower at like 270, but anyway, he's one of the slowest heroes. And Xavier starts off with boots. He's got, thanks to that first, but now he's got Tranquil Boots. So he's almost 100 movement speed faster, easy for him to land those right clicks. And Whitemon, walk of shame right now. How sad is this? A Viper walking to the lane.
Yeah, it's a very sad sight. Already a slow start for players down bot. And I suppose it's just going to be a bit rough for Gab to deal with. One-on-one against the DP seems fine. Already early rotations out from Xavius. Snipes away the water rune away from Carl. So no bottle refill for him as well. Mid matchup for Lelouch and Carl. We have seen Void Spirit versus Puck, and it does rely on Void Spirit landing those 8 remnants every time and getting some damage off. Do you see any other openings here? Do you think Carl should be the shining hope for T1 to kind of take control here?
Yeah, because that it's an insane series of events that have led to them basically dominating the bottom lane thanks to Xavier getting that first blood. Now, Gabby's not suffering. He'll be fine in general, but Carl's going to have to make some moves later on. Gabby?
Oh, Gabby, just going a little bit forward there. Does have level true morph or attribute shift, so not going to be in too much trouble here. Still have time to look at the other lanes. Taking a look up top, Natsumi and AU on the CK Warlock lane up against Cuckoo and Raging on the Razor and Marcy. So far, looking fairly decent for Cuckoo and Natsumi. They're not being held back from farming up here. Do you expect either side to look for aggression in this lane? I mean, you've got the Dispo static link, I suppose.
I think it would be definitely on T1 if they want to go for aggression. It's a bit hard because Natsumi's tanky and you have an AU has a heal, so it's not going to be the easiest skill. But if one of the team is going to, like, because I have to, gun to my head, pick one, I'd say that the Razor and the Marcy are definitely a little bit more aggressive than basically any lane with the Warlock. Maybe if he maxes Upheaval. What do you think, John? Is that?
Oh, I like the spice there, Otto. I would not advise anyone to max Upheaval first, but that could be one way to catch Cuckoo out with a stunts. The rebound speed is quite high and can't do damage when you're tossed back. There's the dispose as well. Lots of damage out in Cuckoo. Natsumi dropping low. Might be able to get the last right click, and they do. Cuckoo finds the first kill for T1 as AU starting to drop low here.
Few seconds.
Might be able to run off. Not a rebound there. No dispose, but the stick charges are on hand. The heal's there, but Cuckoo gets a double. So there you go for T1. At least the offlane's shaping up here.
Yep, and I mean that's how I thought it would happen. Like it was tanky on Polaris, but all the damage is on T1. And well, Kuku, he's just gonna take his damage back. Natsumi. What are you doing, bro?
No. Yeah, runs right up. Plasma field out. One more right click. Kuku on a spree already. 4.5 minutes in with the tips out to Natsumi. And T1, we talked about Kuku having a pretty terrible Razor game last time. Shaping up to be a better one in this game.
And look at the CS. Natsumi's 13 CS only. Another thing is that I'm really surprised that they went to this pick again. Because game 1 it wasn't amazing. Now Xavier's having a fantastic match, but Death Prophet on Force did not look convincing in the first game.
Yeah, it really didn't. He is also, again, as you pointed out, not farming too well. Feels pretty free for Gabby, despite those deaths out from White Munsell. Getting the pulse, getting his presence up. Xavier hasn't been able to find the angles any further on that Tiny. So despite that wonky start, you got Boots and Whitemon. Does get avalanched up, tossed back onto Force with a Spirit Siphon. Will just TP his way away. So is back home, but he'll have to walk back, and he's still only 320 move speed, so it's gonna be a slow process.
It's not as bad as when he was 275. But the Carl's he's close. He's almost level 6 though. And Lush will have to be a little bit careful now.
Yeah. Dream Coil ready. They've got the angle in the backline of Xavier's here as well, dropping some good wards. And both sides have some good vision to spot out each other's movements. And Alush, fall prey to this, rebound out, Dispose is ready. Does not break the link. So Alush still alive for now. Do they have enough damage? White Mon's around, Avalanche to break off. And a good remnant to save. Alush gonna live. He lives.
Despite not having to simulate that magic, infused raindrop works just now. But Carl's happy. He bursts his mouth, gets the bounty ruin, and now T1 securely in the lead.
Yep, they managed to hammer it back their way. Carl now on the move. No Dream Coil, but looking for a play up top with Kuku. He has had that phenomenal start. Natsumi pushed all the way back in the tree line. They're scouting for him. This man should juke away. Carl is still checking. They're cutting some trees for Natsumi to escape. Should be fine. But the push is underway with a siege creep. Polaris, they need to drag some more bots and drag Lelouch in. Can they find the angle? They spot out Kuku, immediately blown away with Natsumi at the side. Carl, again, showing up without the Dream Coil. Can't get the control they need.
Oh, Carl, nice AU. He knows where he's going, but I don't know if he has enough damage to really threaten that puck here.
Not quite. They do manage to run out with a rebound. And Polaris finding some punches back and getting some good punishment of their own. Still looking like a strong start for T1. Less than 1k lead their way with a rather even game. And Gabby is managing to get that build-up he wants on the Morph. Morbid Mask already up, a little bit of Life Steal to help with the farm. And just, not being contested by Force. Like, he's at level 6, he has Exo, he's not able to turn around anywhere. Smoke out from T1, 2 supports here.
They're going straight for the Death Prophet, but she just moves back. Actually gets a couple of ping from her allies, being like, yo, like, there's a nice ward here. I'm not sure if they smoked underneath it, but either way, Force, Spider Sense tingling. He's also getting very close to that Vitality booster. Once he has a Spirit Vessel, very difficult for Gabby to do anything. He's gonna go for a straight up Panther, so it won't be too much of a challenge for too long.
Shouldn't be. Bit of a clump up from Polaris top again. Play forward with Natsumi. Doesn't quite commit onto it. No, will commit onto Kuku now. Gets the stun, not the long duration. Kuku immediately turns around. They've got the toss away from the link. It's not the most presence out from Kuku. AU just gonna TP home. Damage not quite enough to kill him off. No stuns coming out from T1 with Viper support. So, it's coming back away. Still 3-3. With all the movement across the map, do you worry that for Polaris that T1, again, Gabby's just left unchecked here?
Yeah, exactly what they want. Like, I was worried that this game with the draft that's happened, it's a little greedy, Razor off lane, off lane, okay, but no, they're getting exactly what they want. All their cores are the top net worth. So they are staying pretty. It's on Polaris to do something. They gotta fix the situation, take out one of these cores so they get some breathing room. Because the way the game is going right now, it's all in on T1. Like, this 2k net worth lead means a lot more for them.
Yeah.
With the win percentage, it's 6. Wait. Is it really 60% for Polaris? Now what's that?
Yeah, it's a bit strange, that one, but you know what? The AI overlords aren't frequently wrong. So maybe just favoring that early momentum Polaris still can bring out. I mean, again, they still have Exorcism they haven't played with here. Polaris going for their own smoke play once more with the Lucian AU. Have the 2 charges to step up. Just need to gap close onto Gabby and get the chain control off. But it's Raging who makes the first move. This goes back onto Force. The damage is great, but look at the burst! He's just gone! The Fatal Bonds and Creep Wave. The damage from Lelouch isn't enough, and Raging TPing away, not enough. They get the clean kills. We talked about Fatal Bonds combos. The Void Spirit with the Resonant Pots, he just melts him along with a step.
He was full agi. I mean, he's got 520 health. He has got a infused range up, but it doesn't matter. And oh no. That is kind of a disaster. Oh, it's fine. It's just gonna be a tower. Gabby, just they lose that team the same side. So overall, team 1, not too bad. Not too bad. Oh, but Gabby dying like that, really so aggressive, going all in on Agi.
Yeah, they went aggressive first. They jumped onto Force thinking they could burst them down quick enough.
Whitemon
just managed to hold up. Whitemon is TPing in for the defense here.
He revealed himself as well with another toxic. Other people are coming though.
And they're slowly TPing down. They managed to get them Carl with a DD. Should be enough to kill off Force with a silence. This goes out as well. Lelouch does manage to hold back, and Force is trying to heal it. It's just not quite enough. Xavius gets a good avalanche shot. Natsumi shows up with his damage with a Phantasm. Doesn't manage to get 1 kill, but the link is on him. Golden drop to cut this off. Natsumi still dropping low, is taken away. But can Lelouch clean up? Finds 1 more. Raging does fall.
Just the support falling.
2 so far. Not the big kills they want. And they did commit Golem for that back off as well. Cuckoo not done. Wants AU. Does get clipped by the Remnant. Lelouch still looking to play here. Cuckoo dropping low. Doesn't even find AU. AU still running. Carl not going to go for the orb, so they kind of even it out.
Yeah, we did. Like Polaris with that last. Good Aether Remnants, by the way. Catching.
Carl? Finds Lelouch, silences off, but not going to tempt fate. Does not have mana on Carl. Doesn't get that opportunity to punish Lelouch. Yeah, just so back and forth. Polaris this time around, maybe overstepping their bounds a bit. They will manage to get that bot tier 1 to trade.
And by the way, Chaos Knight, he was thinking of going for the armlet. He's going to go for the Midas instead. So kind of, like the Doom from Gabby in game 2, where the carries like, I'm just going to farm. He might need it though. He is 1-4-1 on Natsumi on the Chaos Knight, level 7 in 12 minutes. This is not what you want your carry to be at all. This is where you want him to be, 8 minutes, 7 minutes. He's very far behind.
Yeah, he just gets picked away with a Viper Strike. Lelouch not in time to help, although might find Raging. Good Remnant out from Lelouch. Avalanche pods for the Tumbler's Toy as well. We find another Carl trying to hold him back, but here comes Force to cut off Whitemon. With the Spirit Vessel up, Whitemon not going to have too much life left here. Lelouch will have to step up and running immediately in. Onto Cuckoo next. And getting a lot of value from that Spirit Vessel. Not quite enough damage this time around to cut their losses. 2 for 1 again. Getting off AU earlier on, but they're not done. Xavius keeps that chase. Finds Cuckoo, tosses back. Cuckoo trying to link his way away, but not going to be enough to save, and they get the kill. Carl pretty low on mana. Does have a coil. Silence is there. It's not even going to be able to find punishment onto Xavius.
They don't even have, they just dropped the ward right now. They want to take over this range jungle. Force is down. He's here with the Exorcism. Tornado. I think he spawned him for a second, but they decided not to go for it. So this is good. They are closing up the map a little bit. Cuckoo's starting to fall behind now. Not by much. He's still keeping up with Natsumi. But this is a good thing for them. They can just get a couple more kills on Cuckoo. Delaying his BKB, turn him into a bit of a non-factor right now, because he's had a pretty solid game for this. Like, right until that.
Whitemon gets caught out, silenced up as well. Xavius does have the tots if needs
Not
be.
again, Whitemon!
Trying to run away. Viper Strike does not work, and he's just taken out once more. He does get some wards down. That should be spotted out by Polaris, but they don't quite have the D wards on hand with Xavius. Have some information to play with. It's better Whitemon than Gabby, right?
For sure. Xavius is getting close to that blink dagger though, so that's something to worry about because we've seen these blink tinies, trying to send someone back to get a pick off. Be a bit careful. Still about 500 gold for it.
Pop the EXO out. Defense coming out from T1. They are in position. Carl still has a Dream Coil. Cuckoo is around the area as well with a haste, but spotted out by the illusions of Lelouch. Non-committal push out from Polaris, just standing back with the DP, letting the EXO do its work. T1 not pushing the envelope too hard either. They are inching closer towards that blink here on Polaris with Xavius. A tiny blink almost online in that pause 4, but it does feel like they don't want to just put Lelouch in firing line. So they need that backup in the tiny.
Yeah, plus he's like what's he got? He's only got Spirit Vessel and that's it. There's not really defensive item. One Refused Raindrop with Null, Soul Ring. He doesn't have items that will just be enough to sustain him, so you can't just throw Force up there. So they're not trying to be careful. Plus they just want to give Natsumi time to farm. He is catching up. 30 turns in net worth. His Midas is paying off, but he still needs a little bit more time. And, just can't afford the map to get smaller before that.
A prize.
Yeah, just getting what he can while he can. And that's build up. Has 1,000 gold in bank. And Polaris now just playing patiently. Blink almost up in Xavius. After a creep, he should have that gold up and running. That should be the moment where Polaris might try to kick it into gear once more. Lelouch going for his own Yules. The save from the control. And Force probably going for his BKB. It is finishing up the wand first. So still no defensive items for that frontline DP as you mentioned here. And with its slower pace of game, it does feel like you start to think about the morphling towards the late game, right? Like, yeah, initially laning isn't great for Gabby, but it is still a morphling towards the late game. Can still be big.
I mean, it can, but there's a reason we haven't been seeing a lot of morphling competitive play, because the hero is just not incredible. I don't think that, I don't think he outscales the Chaos Knight. So I don't think that Polaris have to be worried about that. Although Midnight...
Jump forward, this goes out onto Xavius as he blinks in. Didn't manage to get the avalanche before that, as he is going to lose force, but to get the stun on Raging. Maybe they find at least that support in Marcy. Lelouch doesn't have an additional jump. Remnant does connect. One more right click to do the job. Meanwhile, Carl cleans up on the sides. Going on to AU now. Lelouch trying to get some hits off. AU still being chased down. Still has the Golem. Doesn't get picked off. Does lose his Courier. So a 2-for-1 in the favor of T1. Unfortunate for Xavius. That was his blink reveal into the dispose.
Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, just walked into it. Very unfortunate for him. And like I said, this was sort of going to be a big reveal. You're hoping to catch some core, talk them back, but it's fine. It's not the biggest issue here. The tower still stays alive. So even though T1, well, they call us a little bit of golden experience injection, not exactly an objective. Something that's there. It's fine. It's not too big of an issue. Natsumi, he's gonna go for the Echo Saber here. Is it coming? Yeah, it is gonna be the Echo Saber. Really, again, he just wants to keep farming. Whether he disassemble that to make the BKB, or they're just gonna be like, oh, I'll keep this for a while longer.
Just, again, building up, being allowed to get what he wants. He is still behind Gabby, about 1,000 gold behind. The Morphling now just starting to flex its farming muscles with how much space Gabby's been given after that awkward lane. Going into the BKB next for him. For Polaris, they are smoked up with the 2 supports, but they're not linked up with any force, so it's just a warding run for Xavius, it looks like.
Need to be a little bit careful here. The BKBs are going to come out on the Razor soon. Gabby already has the Manta, which means that this Spirit Vessel that Force spent about like 3,000 gold to get, it's gonna lose a lot of effectiveness very soon.
Yeah. And that's what they've been banking on, right? To soften up these targets, to make it easier to manage Gabby when you spot him out. Not going to be as effective any longer. If you turn Gabby into the CK, just play tag with the illusions. Not really jumping on Natsumi himself. They are kind of preventing that flash farm with illusions at the very least a little bit longer. And again, Polaris just keeping this game pace slower. They want Natsumi to build up. They are risking it with a Morphling being allowed to build up as much as he has right now. What timings might we be looking for from Polaris? Because they've got that blink in Xavius after that revealed mid. They haven't been playing with it too much.
Yeah, this is kind of surprising, but it seems like they're just going to wait for their BKBs. Force is building one. Chaos Knight, sorry, Natsumi is building one. Lelouch is going for the Aghanim Scepter. That's a bit of a ways off. So we'll see what they're going to go with. But a couple of BKBs will help them out a lot. If you look at T1, they don't really have anything that goes through BKB. Static Link, yes. And as well as like the Eye of the Storm, but that's like physical damage. It's not really something that anything can stop. So BKB or Natsumi, BKB on force could be a big deal for them.
Carl finds Xavius, immediate Dream Coil out. Snap is there with the Avalanche though. Xavius might be able to run his way off. They do spot out Gabby. He does Strength Morph in time, so it's a lot harder to kill off right now. They have the Golem drop, perfectly chain stun. They actually kill him off. The damage from Natsumi, the crits from the Phantasm is enough to carry them through. So they find the big one.
Dude, Lelouch was able to get 8th Remnant while 3 creeps were standing there. Like, that's amazing. That was just, what a play. I love how he could do that. I don't know how he even managed it. You gotta go watch the street play. And really good timing from AU, saving that goal just
Avalanche toss out onto Kuku into the rim as well. The timing's perfect. Onto BKB and dies. Fresh BKB not doing much as the Exos pop. Trying to get more. Carl does clean up on Xavius eventually. But with Kuku dying again, they don't mind. So Polaris just finding the angles, just kicking it into gear and punishes T1.
Man, Kuku. Dying is fine, but that's your best BKB. You know, it doesn't get better than that. That's a 9-second BKB. That's the first BKB you're gonna get, and he just used it literally a millisecond before he was about to die. Ouch. I don't know which one's worse, that or Gabby dying, but anyway, let us go for Roshan here. This is pretty sneaky. I like it.
Yep. They smoke up, they go into the pit. Sidekick on Morphling is a lot of damage. He does have the life steal from Morbid, so not going to be too hard for him to do that. There is a fight breaking out by the rune, but is a puck very hard to pin down for Polaris, and the blink is out from Carl. So he's stalling out well. So focused in there that they don't bump in, but Natsumi's checking with illusions. Does find that out, and they might find Raging for their trouble. The stun is there to get a kill, and now they get the opportunity for Roshan. Meanwhile, Polaris still chasing across the map. They manage to catch out Kuku. Link is there to hold back Lelouch. And Gabby is ready to play with his own remnants. Does actually clip Lelouch somehow. Not enough to really net the kills. And eventually Polaris, they might find this rush. Dreamcoil is still down. That's a big one for Polaris to sneak away themselves.
I cannot give enough praise to Lelouch with the Aether Remnant, because that killed Gabby, which led to them going mid to kill Kuku, which allowed them to, like, later on sort of slow down T1, where they were like, alright, let's go for the Roshan, which was a little bit risky. Polaris sniff it out, get the kill. Like, it all comes down to an amazing play by Lelouch. That moment is I was looking for games and there's like a certain moment where you're like, okay, this game turns on its head. That was a very game-turning moment by Lelouch.
Yeah, they just managed to find that opening. They forced T1 to make these plays, and they still have the foresight to check the pit while they were split up. You get the punishment. Now you've got the BKB on Natsumi with the Echo Saber disassembly. Waiting for that blink next. Carl still hanging around the area. Is still fairly mobile on the puck. He's going to be able to run off the Remnant. The instant blink out from Carl. Lelouch not going to nail it this time. They've got the opportunity for the push in. You know, we were talking about the sustain game in that drafting phase here, Ultima. They've got the shard up on AU.
Yep.
So all the heals in the world to come out here now.
I was going to say, I was like, oh, there's the shard. And looks like we'll be going for a Glimmer Cape right after, just so that all that magic damage from T1 won't bother them. We'll go for a Holy Lock as well. We get so much
smoke
heal.
break. Raging with the Invis does manage to break the smoke rotation out. Sentry is just a bit too late. Raging still hanging around the area, still outside vision. He's actually using that Invis well, giving so much key information towards T1, but he does walk into the range now. The stun is coming through. Avalanche as well. Natsumi grabs another. Kuku coming in though. Does have the static link, but is forced to BKB and try to keep chase. Is still being tickled by the illusions, but it's enough to shove them out for now.
I absolutely love it.
Blink stun out from Xavius, toss back as well. Whitemon, that pause 5 Viper. You talked about its scaling here, Oddmore. It certainly feels like it's kind of run its course.
Yep, he's 0-7. He has officially, you know, he turned to Viper. You know, he was doing well and he Vipered it up, basically. The support Viper, and at this point, I don't know, maybe it's Morbin time. You know, Gabby's got to do something. He's got the Morbin mask, he's morphling. It's time for him to Morbin and do some stuff, because it's a very tough situation. He's not far from the BKB. He's up against a Natsumi with Aegis. He's ahead in terms of net worth. What's you could sort of run around and maybe make it really scary, so you got TP as long as AU's around. It just drops a golem on you, he doesn't mind.
Yeah, they've been really disciplined on Polaris to hold on to that golem for key moments. T1 going for a smoke play now of their own. Looking for an angle in, maybe just retake control of their triangle. No forward wards placed by Polaris, just a whole bunch of sentries. Block some camps. Still looking for the flank onto that top jungle. They might be able to find Xavius, but that is just a support Tiny here. Does have his 4-staff and the courier, turns it back at the right moment. So, a little bit of movement does not pan out at all for T1 as they're forced to show mid. That mid tier 1 for Polaris still stands. They've not been able to make inways in this game in terms of objectives, and now Polaris is well smoking up. Could find a good flank into the rear all across the map though. So a little bit of a walk for them. But they have a general idea as to where T1's at, because they weren't in the triangle, they weren't in that bot jungle. Might catch out some stragglers. Lush ags up.
Interesting item, by the way, on the Chaos Knight. He's got the Mage Slayer, so a lot of the magic damage reduced by T1. They already have BKBs on Polaris, so this Carl, this Puck, they have problems dealing the damage. Like, he's going for Kaya, he's doubling down on more magic damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Polaris, I think they're get the backstab going.
Catch out Zig. That gives him the info. Instantly blowing up Xavius. But Natsumi's still in the area. Age is only a minute left. Bit of a dicey timing for Polaris. They won't engage further. T1 as well. Just go for that tier 1 down mid. They finally get some much needed control on the map at least. Cutting off a little bit more of that access in the jungle. Do you feel like Polaris has done enough of this, Aegis? Like only half a minute left here.
I think so. I mean, they were able to get the outpost bottom. They only lost Xavius a couple of times. Like, it's not the biggest deal, you know?
Getting twapped away. He's still slippery on the Morbling.
Blink in 2 seconds. Natsumi's gonna go for it.
Holds off. So, still not quite can jump out. And then, again, Lelouch with the Ags. We haven't quite seen him use it in the middle of these fights yet. Invis grabbed up. Silence was there to cut off any counterplay from Lelouch. So, just slipping away. 2k lead still stands for Polaris. At what point would you say the Morphling does becomes to start that Morbling, you know, where it's just really hard to deal with?
I don't think there's any real point. Like I said, I don't think this hero is in a good spot right now. I don't think that he'll ever outscale the Chaos Knight in any significant way, so there's no point where you look at Gab and you're like, yep, you can definitely 1 versus 5 this game. You know, it's going to have to come down to him and the support staff. You know, maybe you can do something with Carl with the Dream Coil, like level 25, where you pierce immunity. It's something like that. It's not going to come from Gabby himself, or like only Gabby, basically. Kuku is getting close to that refresh orbs. I say close. He's still about like 1,500 gold away from it, but that could help. Bottom lane, though, they're not waiting on Polaris.
Now getting a bit of shove into that tier 3. Phantasm is already down, but not the longest cooldown in the world. Aegis has expired. So, protecting Natsumi in the backside. Silence is enough to shove him away. And Polaris don't fully commit. Instead, I'm trying to TP out. Lelouch might look for a kill onto Whitemon. 1 step out, another step out. Remnant lands, and that's going to be a kill on the Viper once more. Quick strike out at the least. So you can tickle Lelouch before dying, but it's a freebie for Lelouch once more.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, it's fine. Like, you can't really say anything about the Viper anymore. It's just like, well, he died. But what he's doing is he's going out, he's sort of forcing them to try to kill him, he's pushing out the lanes. It's really the best use of his hero right now. As for Polaris, they were down to 2k lead, now they're still back up 4. And you know, we talked about the AI overlords. Maybe they were right, you know? We were like, no way, it's T1. They had the gold advantage, 3k gold advantage, and still favored Polaris by 60%. And now, AU though, might lose his life here. Throws a golem.
Does drop the golem first, but it's going to be taken out for this. Drops a Shadow Word as well. Maybe just looking to chip away. His team is nearby, but the scan is out from T1, so they're going to be able to back off. Although Lelouch finds Whitemon, H Remnant out, does flip with a 4-staff, and he's just instantly gone. Gabby coming in with a Void Spirit form. Not going to commit. So support for support. They did force out Golem. It still feels like a pretty good trade for T1 in the end.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy with that, because now they they can feel a little bit more confident. And the person they're killing, the Warlock, he's doing a lot. You know, the Shadow Word spam, as well as the Golem, a BKB piercing ability. So killing him is a big deal, especially getting the Golem out of it. Well, I mean, not killing, but getting the Golem is a bigger deal than killing him. But losing Whitemon, you don't care. Like, he's 0-9. And if he goes 0-15, it won't matter.
Yeah, could be lined up for a Milk Award as legends go, you know. Try to hit 0-15, no kills, all the deaths, a few assists, and still win the match. We'll see if that is something T1 can pull off. Polaris, and they still maintain 4K, but it's not like it's been building up too much. T1's been able to at least keep that same growth within them as well in terms of net worth. So Gabby's not lagging too far behind. Carl's also up there on the puck. BKB up and running, fresh 9-second charge. And into the Paisange, so the stat resist is going to be big. I do get a little bit worried for Polaris, right? Like, puck towards late game is actually a menace. Level 20 talent up into 25, piercing spell immunity, that fixes a lot of T1's issues.
And he's also got the ceremonial robe, so that's an extra reduction of 10% for them, his magic resistance, as well as stats resistance with the Kaya. So he is doing a significant amount of magic damage, even against all these, you know, Glimmer, Capes, and BKBs, and as well as Natsumi's Mage Slayer. So Carl's still a threat. Roshan's up at 40 seconds. I don't think Polaris will push the issue until they have the second Aegis. You know, they're like, let's get second Aegis, secure the game. You win this, you're in the lower bracket finals. You lose this, you have no chance of going to Ginting. So this is a big match for both teams.
We've got to find a way to carry through both sides. Last game for the lower bracket series here. We're refresh already up on Cuckoo, so you know, the Razor does hit its stride, still not too durable. Don't have anything like a casual plate mail to sustain through the damage of Natsumi. Polaris are just camping around Roche, waiting for the respawn. They know the timer, only a few seconds away. T1 should be able to get a read. They are grouped up for the smoke, might be able to get a good scouting out. Natsumi backs off before he sees Roshan back up, so they might miss out.
Yeah, there's no pings or anything. Natsumi might need to walk in again here. Full smoke by T1. Ooh, that could have been a thing. Xavius breaks the smoke.
Very nicely done. T1 forced to go down onto the triangle instead and regroup. Polaris still holding their area in the jungle. Natsumi gonna go check again. Still has that DD. Jumping forward with Raging, not gonna fully commit. Hiroshi is being started by Natsumi. Still playing tag down mid, but CK solo with a DD could find that second Roche with the Ag Shard. Could be massive to give away to Natsumi or Lelouch for the mobility. And T1 are in the complete wrong side of the map block. When they're down bot, they just snuck away with a smoke.
Yeah, it's gonna be an issue for them because this might be the sign, the thing that Polaris needs to go high ground, and T1 can't give it away for free. In this judge where Xavius is, Xavius can't trick them out. Is that? Oh, that's confusing. Okay. Nice shot for the Chaos Knight as the Aegis in the pocket. It's still a massive lead for Polaris. Like, you look at the net worth, Carl's right up there, Gabby's right up there as well. Cuckoo's suffering a little bit, but still not the biggest deal. It's really the supports. That's actually the only real difference in net worth comes from the support. Through that 5K, 3 of it's from Xavius having an absolutely stellar game. He's got 4 staff, Link Dagger, and he's going to go for an Aeon Disc in a second as well.
Just going to be able to provide all that utility out for Polaris. Another smoke out from Polaris this time. Looking for the chase. I only really see Whitemon, as you mentioned, not really a priority target 096. They clear out the tier 2 down bot for T1. Gabby's getting some room to kind of get the damage off. Does have the Scotty up in Morphling. He's got a good amount of stats, great damage coming through. Can mitigate some of that healing coming out. Carl, being sneaky, no more to watch. He managed to at least stop that. Xavius, again, just playing tag up top as well. Holding back the high ground push the T1 trying to split up. And Polaris, I mean, what is it that we have to see from them? They've got the Aegis for 3 minutes 40 here. What should they achieve with that?
I mean, Polaris, they want to push. They like to go high ground. Well, what happens is when you just saw, you know, Carl, bottom lane, then someone's like, alright, gotta defend. They don't want to take a fight with less people. Like, you can tell when a match has so much online, teams are a little bit more careful. They're not going to go in with only 4 people high ground. They want to wait for everyone. So, Polaris, if they could get a kill on a Carl, that would be the best thing for them to push high ground.
Smoke breaks, instant stunned up, avalanche shots as well. Golden drop as well. Gabby's just gone just instantly taken away. The chain stunts are perfect coming out from Polaris, holding him down long enough. That was a BKB pop from Natsumi. But the tips are out. No buyback on Gabby. This could be their opening for high ground. Xavier's hunting for more, but T1 has managed to retreat fully. Raging is still straggling here. No blink out though. Cuckoo kind of just looking for the split push. They are still hunting. Diving into the high ground here. Catching out Carl. The remnant tanked out by Whitemon. And his job is to support. BKB popped open by Carl. Tossed back by Xavius. Onto Raging. It's going to be setting it up. Taken away. As they drag Cuckoo back in. Avalanche does not do much with the BKB. But so does the static link. Just doesn't achieve much with a 4 staffs up. Forced to buy back in White. Not too much time left in the XO. No creep wave as well. It is coming in now. But the Aegis still stands for 2 minutes. They forced the fortify out early as well. But they fortify back to hold on to this creeps. Buyback from Raging. They want to find that opening. Upheaval being channeled by AU in the backline. Green Coil already. They have the displaced combo onto Lelouch. They force that mission away. Does have the use to save. Cuckoo with a BKB once more on the refresh. That they still lose Raging. They take out the Aegis of Natsumi. Here comes Lelouch on re-engage, taking out Cuckoo. No buyback on him as Natsumi jumps forward. Once Carl will find him. A triple kill on Godlike for Natsumi. Onto the racks they go. And it's Gabby against the world. No buybacks left for T1. They could try to rush for the tier 4s. They've got the damage and they will do so. Polaris sensing that opening. And Gabby, I mean, he's got all the farm in the world. Sure, not as much as Natsumi, but he hasn't been a factor. He's been caught off guard way too much.
Yeah, he's literally 1 3
BKB trying to make a last stand here. Might find Natsumi. The tops away in the Glimmer Cape. Saves Natsumi. The BKB as well to dodge the damage. And they're still onto those tier 4s. Natsumi gonna be healed up. No BKB on Gabby as well. And that push just keeps going. Buyback on Carl. No Dream Coil yet. Avalanche does not connect. Yules is there to save BKB out from Carl. But there goes Gabby back in without the BKB. Doesn't really blind anyone. Does dive. He's gone to GG. T1 out of the running for Genting and Polaris. This lineup that struggled in Rip 1 that didn't find a series win beats out a team that was in the major in Stockholm.
Dude.